Hello, everyone. We are live now. Welcome to the exciting panel discussion. I'm 𝐊𝐿𝐲, Engineering Manager, Open Source Program Officer at Lambda Test, and I'll be moderating this session along with sharing my expertise as a panelist. Today, we are diving into quality engineering evolution, what lies ahead in 2025, exploring how testing is evolving and how strategies industry leaders are using to stay ahead. And we have an incredible panel with us. So let me quickly introduce to the panelists. So Ioannis Papadakis, head of the QA at Snappy. Hi, Ioannis. He's a seasoned QA leader with over
Hello.
13 years of experience driving quality engineering and innovation. He's a frequent speaker at global conferences like Eurostar and the Grafana Conf. And next we have 𝐊𝐿𝐲 𝐇𝐢𝐠𝐡𝐥𝐢𝐠𝐡𝐭𝐬. Head of QA at Remita. He's a cybersecurity and software testing expert, Africa's first published author on testing, and the founder of multiple tech ventures. Hi, 𝐊𝐿𝐲.
Hi.
Next, we have Nitin Yes, head of QA at Logify. He's the founder of Synapse QA and the tech leader focused on building robust test automation solutions. Hi, Nitin.
Hi.
So, we have Priscilla, team leader at Millennium. Is a Postman Supernova, AWS community builder, and a passionate advocate for API automation testing. Hi, Priscilla. Oh, okay. So next we have Rahul, specialist at IFM Engineering, is a Jerry Weinberg Testing Excellence Awardee, blogger, and speaker with 60 plus conference talks. So before we dive into our discussion, I would like to set stage for discussion today. So quality engineering has undergone remarkable transformation in recent years. So we have witnessed the shift from traditional testing silos to integrated quality approaches. The rapid adoption of AI and ML in testing workflows and increasingly complex systems demanding more sophisticated testing strategies. So as we look into the 2025, we stand at an interesting crossroads. So the World Quality Reports indicates that around 70% of the organizations are increasing their testing budgets this year, with particular focus on automation, AI integration, and security testing. So yet many teams still struggle with balancing innovation and maintaining testing fundamentals. So today we will explore not just where quality engineering is headed, but how we as practitioners can shape its future. So we will discuss the practical challenges you are facing first, the emerging opportunities you see, and the strategies that will define excellence in our field. Going with the first question, so how did 2024 unfold for you, and do you have any personal notable experiences or achievements to share from the year? So I'll go with Ioannis. Let's start with you.
Okay. It's really great, glad to be here again. I think, and thank you for the introduction being made, and thank you that I'm the first person I'm going to see. No. So, 2024. I think testing strategies are really changing from a couple of years back until today. So there is, the profound AI and, the Gen AI world that they are changing the way that we are developing our applications, but it's also changing the way we are testing our applications so we can make our strategies more efficient. And through 2024, a lot of actually experimentation with tools that has to do with the Gen AI, give us the power to experiment and make decisions of what we are going to integrate in our testing life cycle. I think this is the most, if I could pick one, let's say, key item that it's really important from the last year. It's the emerging technologies around the AI landscape and how they are actually shifting our traditional quality world to the new era, let's say, and how we can use them to automate more, make more efficient automation strategies when it comes to test automation. Not balance between manual testing and automation testing when it comes to what we should do. So it's a new kid in the block, I would say. It's not a new kid in the block, but it's here, and it will give us the power to excel at what we do as quality professionals from now on. Yeah, that's right.
Thank you for sharing that. 𝐊𝐿𝐲, how was 2024 for you?
Okay, thank you so much for having me once again. And it's so nice to be here with everyone. For me, 2024 was quite amazing. I started the year with um, launching the first software testing book in Africa, which was the ABC of software testing. And I witnessed quite an overwhelming response from professionals who are hearing about testing for the first time, which is quite weird. Meeting with different founders and business owners and talking to them about software testing, and which for me was quite big to see that this part of the country is now accepting testing more and more and understanding the true impact of quality assurance. And the second highlight for me last year was also that I hosted the first Ghana Testers Conference. That was also major for me, seeing a room filled with passionate testers reaffirmed, why I do what I do. So beyond the achievement, the real wins for me was the connection that I made, mentoring testers, even getting mentored, shaping, and redefining what quality really means, which is really start from the mind, working with developers, helping them to understand that we are all here to deliver a quality products. And I would say majorly pushing the industry forward would like that's I would say what 2024 really encompasses for me generally. Thank you.
Fascinating. So, Nitin, I would like to hear about your 2024.
Thanks, Harsha. It's a pleasure to be here together with these amazing panel members and you, right? For me, 2024 has been really, really fantastic, and it's a year that made me focus on something truly important, which is myself. Because I was running in a fast-paced sort of mode since like few years before 2024, and I had to take a pause and reflect on the things where things are headed for me and also where things has been shaping up for me in the past, right? So it was a moment of pause and reflecting time for me. And one thing about the key area which I was focusing more was on, because you remember, like, we as engineers often we know the importance of being more productive and being more efficient, cultivating smaller set of habits, right? So one of the key area which I was focusing purely on 2024 together with the pause and reflection was more on the lines of micro habits and how it can be helping engineers to scale up and be more efficient in their daily practices. So that I would see as a personal sort of accomplishment where I managed to help people also to have the importance of micro habits in their daily life. So that's a bit about how 2024 was shaping up for me.
That's impressive. So, and Rahul, how did 2024 unfold for you?
Hi, Shri. So, thanks for this question. This question gave me a chance to actually reflect back on all the amazing things that happened in the last 1 year. And I mean, at a high level, when I reflect back, I see it was a year of back to basics for me. Basics in terms of what testing is and how, I mean, this testing will be useful in the time ahead with AI coming into the picture and automation and all the progress that we see. The second thing that I mean found was that how, like, I, as somebody who knows testing, who knows automation, now how I can also systematically learn AI and then use it to fuel my testing activities. So I mean, I started learning about prompt engineering, generative AI, how I can do it, running micro experiments, publishing those experiments, presenting those experiments, and I think that was one of the key highlight. Because I mean, learning is one point, but then once I present it to others, once I bring it out for discussions, I think that is how the real growth and discussions and all those topics and evolution starts. And I think even when I see now topics in conferences, I think that there is a lot of focus more towards, I mean, how do we maintain quality, I mean, amidst all of this speed and so on. And I mean, we are now talking about this evolution, I think, which is also the topic today, that how is the quality engineering going to evolve, and I mean, what's next, what should we all look forward to. So I think 2024 set a very right ground for this thing to happen.
Great, great. And if I may add, um, 2024 was transformative year for me too, and I moved to a permanent role to the open source at Lambda Test. So this shift gave me exciting opportunities to work on all the AI technologies and all the open source tools. The experience was really expanded my technical skills and changed how I think about the quality today in tech landscape. So yeah, that was short. Thank you for all sharing your experiences. So one framework that has guided testing strategies for years is the testing pyramid, right? So however, with today's complex systems and emerging technologies, there are some questions its continued relevance. So what are your thoughts on evolving test pyramid? Is it still relevant, or do we need a new model to address the complexities of modern systems and AI driven processes? Who wants to go first?
Maybe I can start. So I would say testing pyramid is actually relevant, right? The relevancy is still there because the idea that testing pyramid puts out there is to have like a layered testing approach. But the shape can be changed because it can be adapted purely based on the context under which we are having the testing defined, right? So let's say, for example, Spotify uses honeycomb model because for a distributed microservice system, honeycomb's structure of having more integration tests suits their context of testing. So it's more about adapting the shape, following the core principles of like keeping a layered approach. But what fits for your organization or your product is something we need to take into consideration. So it's more of kind of like balancing because purpose of test automation is to make us move fast and also while giving us more confidence on what we are testing, right? So in order to give that confidence, if the shape can be altered fitting into the context, that's purely fine, but it should be having a layered testing approach instead of putting everything on one single piece. That's my take.
Yeah, that's a practical insight, and I agree that the organization actually has to choose what fits actually to the testing practice. So yeah, who wants to go next?
Yeah, I would say that, I mean, the traditional testing pyramid has served us really well. It has, it has been fantastic for years. But let's be honest, it's struggling to keep up with the modern complexities. I mean, think of AI driven testing, event driven architecture, microservices. We don't just test layers anymore. We test interactions, we test adaptability, and the intelligence. Um, I lean towards a testing honeycomb model where automation, exploratory, AI driven, and even chaos testing interconnect dynamically rather than existing in a rigid ties. So it's no longer about where we test, but how seamlessly testing interacts into development and operation. I would say that what we have today, testing is now more in development rather than the traditional approach where development is done, operation is done, testing is done. But now we have evolved to where testing is part of development, testing is part of operation, not just something we do outside the box. So I would say that that is where we are. Traditional is no longer relevant, but these are the new models that we are using to drive this modem system and these, AI driven processes, basically.
Great.
I can be the last one if you like me because I started as first. So
The stage is open, Yanis. Yeah.
yeah, okay. I agree with all the folks in the call. I mean, it's the testing pyramid. It's foundation for us today, and it's a way to organize, as Nathan said, layers. Like what we are trying to achieve from this period is to have more speed and more coverage. Let's say within our development and testing life cycle. Things are changing. You have functional and non-functional testing. There is a chaos testing that we said. There are performance testing that you have more modern microservice architecture. You need to rely on the performance of these systems. So you try to make things. You're actually transforming the way the pyramid or each layer is actually, being displayed, and it's like sort of a guidelines for your engineering teams to evolve as you are evolving. So things like how do we test AI, prompt engineering, things, all of these are actually is going to change again the layers as we are moving on in this new era. But we need to make sure we are, we have a balance between speed and coverage, of course. There is a challenge over there. How do you, make yourself or balance yourself with all of this? Have a comprehensive coverage in your layers. The traditional, so to finish, the traditional testing pyramid is actually really a foundation. It's a valuable framework. It's going to be there, but it's going to transform, or it's going to adapt as we're changing to more modern, let's say, complexities in the software world. We have AI driven processes emerging, so this will change a lot as we are moving on. Yep.
Great.
Back to you.
Yeah, fascinating. So, hi Priscilla, can you hear us?
Yeah.
That's great
Hello.
having you back
Thank you.
here. So
Thank you.
yeah, so I have went to table with one common question. So just wanted to ask for you the same. How did 2024 unfold for you, and do you have any personally notable experiences or achievements to share from the year?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Harsha. So yes, if you ask, it was a great experience working. And professionally, if we talk about, like, we had to set up some pipelines and it was up and running fine. So that was achievement, as you know, guys, right? And I was able to learn Playwright because I know, like, everywhere people started talking about Playwright, and I really wanted to get my hands dirty. So I started exploring Playwright last year. So that was achievement when I talk about professionally. And yeah, personally, since you stressed it about, yeah, I delivered my second baby. So I was which the second half kept me busy with my little one. So these are the things which happen, Harsha. So, like, after the baby, yeah, if you ask me, so far nothing happened. So yeah, so this is pretty much about my 2024. Such a busy one. Yeah.
Great. So
Thank you.
now let's shift our focus on the practical day-to-day aspects of quality engineering. So the landscape has changed significantly in recent years, right? So looking at your daily work now versus 3 years ago, so what specific tasks have you disappeared or emerged in your role as a quality engineer? Which skills have become more crucial? This is interesting.
Okay, let me go first because everybody will steal my points. All right, so I would say for me, 3 years ago, a lot of my time went into manual validation,
Mhm.
repetitive regression testing, isolated test execution. But looking at today, and those tasks have largely shifted to automation, AI assisted tools. So it allows me to focus on, I'm now much focused on risk based testing, exploratory testing, improving test strategy and processes. Um, what has emerged for me would be that quality engineering, let me say test engineering, has become more proactive than reactive. We are now deeply involved in the shift left testing, the continuous test monitoring, the integrating AI driven insight into test coverage decision. For me, as for my skills, I would say that system thinking, I've become more proficient in my coding. I mean, I was hell bent on Java programming language for a very long time. I was just so addicted to it. I didn't want to try anything else. But I've laid my hands on Python and JavaScript, and I think I sort of love JavaScript more. So
Yeah.
I've sort of mastered it more. Data analysis was really where I started from in my career. So going back to it to help me really get a lot of insights, it has really become more indispensable for me. But above all, I would say that the ability to adapt to new technologies. I know myself 3 years ago, I'm like, new tool again, you know. But now, the ability to adapt to new technologies, but still maintaining my strong testing mindset,
Mhm.
is what truly sets me different. My 3 years from me today different apart for me.
Mhm.
So that's it
Mhm.
for me.
That's
So
a
yeah,
Yeah, if
fascinating evolution.
everybody
Yeah.
can go with the point.
exactly, yeah. If you ask me, I was around like more than a decade old, Harsha, like around like 13 years before. So quite old generation, maybe. Not even agile. It was not even a word that time. We all belong to waterfall model. So that kind of generation. So we work on a single project for 1 year. Like we'll write the test cases. It'll go on and go on. And then finally after a year, we'll execute those test cases. So it was a very longer duration. So yeah, in a funny note, I still remember like I was working on test cases for months on months,
Mhm.
and I still remember going by books like because yeah, this is something like, and I have to follow it was just not this kind of exploratory things that dry runs that this is just now we have. So it was morely by books, and that was a generation, as she was mentioning, like it was more towards like a tester has to do only the testing part. Like we were not even given a freedom to learn or explore other programming languages, like I was not even into. But trust me, we were a batch who were being test trained as automation testers in my first firm, but I never get an opportunity to explore and work into code. It was morely by books. I still remember those days. And if I see currently the shorter releases, which we call, because I know I don't want to call it as agile because everyone have their own definition for agile, right? We know
Yeah.
that. So I'll always call shorter releases. So all these shorter releases, I feel like I have the rush to test the product, and somehow I'm feeling it, right? Because in that those old days, I couldn't see or I couldn't feel what is happening until entire product is ready. I'll keep on writing the test cases and test cases, but I'll never get an opportunity to feel that. But right now, they have a skeleton, they have a framework. Even if not, they have all these uh, templates available, so it makes my work easy, and I can get the real hold of the application, and that gives me complete freedom, and I really enjoy testing now. So this is something I'm seeing it has changed. Harshaya, maybe others can add. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for the perspective, Priscilla.
Maybe
Anyone?
I can add because both of them steal my all the points I had in my mind. And Preeti, I guess we both come from the same generation. When I started my career, right, it was the same thing, more or less the same setting like you had. It was more of siloed testing because we
Mm,
come
mm,
towards the end,
mm.
and we know what needs to be tested when it is there in the testing column, right? So we,
Exactly.
we we were supposed to take it up, design some test cases, wait for the next moment when the stars align to get it tested. So it may take like 6 months or 9 months to test it. So that was the stage. I guess we both come from the same time. And as the career evolved, I would say like things started to shift from a direction towards like more proactive than being more reactive, supported with the data factor, right? So they were more focused towards data aspects on testing, having insights, identifying patterns, and sharing the concepts on how to fix those patterns, right? So recurring issues were
Mm,
analyzed with the help of patternization and everything. So that was one shift I noticed throughout the stages in my career, and more collaboration started to happen because when I transformed into an automation engineer. I was writing code like crazy every day. I put like lot of commits and everything. The code was there, and we were running the test from our local machine. So there was no integration with cloud. There was no
Clouds.
execution there. We just run from our local machine, right? Was it the real purpose of having automation? You are running daily 6 hours, 7 hours in your local machine. So that was the stage which I am coming from. And then it got evolved with more integration with CI/CD practices and all. And now we are talking about continuous testing. So having the test running in continuous integration pipelines, right? So that's a huge shift we had. So it was more of a matter of being adaptable to embrace those changes and also going with the shift, making ourselves open to learn new things, try out new things, fail, and also learn from those failures. So yeah.
Great.
exactly. Just to add one more thing, Harsha, I'm sorry if I'm taking too
No
much time.
worries. Yeah.
So, if you, we are from an automation generation where VB script and macros are considered as an automation specialist. So, that is how we all started. So, writing VB script and automating something from the a simple VLOOKUP made us something. Oh, we have automated something. So, that sort of people. So, but right now, I know like. We are capable of doing much more things via automation, so including lambda test platform, right? So I'm really proud of the journey that as a testing overall the testers and testing has evolved through these years.
Great. So anyone wants to go around?
Yeah, I can go. Guys, you are answering all the questions, and in the third round, you don't know what to reply back. But okay, I'll do my best. So everything is what you said. I will add a few more details around observability, and how observability and monitoring is actually changing. It's one area that I also worked a lot, with in the last 2 years, because you need to make sure you're observing right the systems. Quality needs to adapt to observability standards as well, and monitoring standards, and how the quality world is actually equipped with this part. And I would add the other case that you said, there is a lot of changes around performance testing. We said it earlier. More complex architectures means new ways of testing, and you need to go from a traditional tester to a more capable engineer, I would say. And the battle that we had in the past, like we have the QA people that they know the business domain, we have the developers that it's a little bit outside of the business domain. Now, I think we're in a good shape that we're talking about engineering teams and high efficient engineering teams. We're not giving labels or positions to people because they are adapting to new technologies. And this is all for, I think, this is a way to move forward. You have one, main goal that everybody needs to work on together to accomplish. So that would be, a few touch points in the question from me.
Yep. Thank you, Anis. So Rahul, anything to add up?
Yeah, I mean, interesting point shared by all the folks. I think one very big change in the way I work, or I used to work like 3 years or 4 years back, and today is that I see a significant rise in the community support. I see a significant rise in community events, in the access to the people who are experts or who have done this stuff, the approachability, and that is a very big game changer. I mean, when I started back, I was like not even aware. I mean, who is the other tester? Probably within my own company also, who is good at work or who can help me find some innovation with my work. But today, I mean, for example, these events which we are doing, it brings experts from all over the world. And I mean, with like so much community effort, I mean, the widespread distribution and everybody can now access it. It's available on YouTube. I think that's a very massive change. I think that has changed how people think about testing and talk about testing. And I mean, we are making testing more and more social. So yeah, I wanted to add that.
That's a great point, Rahul, for the community, like changing in the having the community events. Yeah. So, if you ask me what specific tasks have disappeared, so in short, chatting with my friends because everything is virtual now. Okay. So, as we have discussed, our field is evolving rapidly. That creates a constant tension between adopting new approaches and maintaining fundamentals. So, how can professionals balance adopting new technologies with maintaining a focus on foundational testing principles?
Let me
So,
go.
mhm.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I like to go first because I don't want to be locked up. Uh,
You know all the questions, so
and we'll all say finally, yeah, we'll agree with you and most of the points that we covered. Yeah.
yeah, so I would say um, I like to think of new technologies as power tools, um, especially when used correctly. But it is dangerous if they replace the good craftsmanship of testing.
Mhm.
The problem is that today you get to hear everybody talk about automation, performance. We talk more about the tools rather than the craft itself. So the tools are great, but the
Mhm.
craft itself is key. That's why I have a very popular slogan that says the skill before the tool. The key is intentional adoption. That's what I would say. Every time my team considers to bring in a new tool, um, we are always asking the question: does this really solve our real problem, or are we just trying to use the latest technology tool? Is it because everybody is now using this tool is why we want to use it? If we bring it into our own reality, like right now in with this product that we have, is it really solving our problem? The fundamental principles of testing has not changed. It's still critical thinking. It is still risk analysis. It is still exploratory testing. It is still requirement validation. Those things still remains as the backbone of testing, because we don't just automate for the sake of automation. The essence of automation is to ensure that the actual repetitive tasks we have, we understand it. It enhances our understanding, not just the execution. So the balance, I would say, adopt the tools that amplify human intelligence, not replace it. Stay curious, but don't compromise on what makes testing valuable, which is your mindset and not just the tool set. That's it for me.
That's a thoughtful framework. Thank you, Bhakti.
Exactly. Ibrahim, are you using a AI model to skim through all our minds and collect all the points?
So yeah, everybody can now share the remaining point.
Great. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I wanted to add. I wanted to add. I will go next. Sorry for that, guys. So, but because I wanted to add some few points here. As I said, as we said, there is a need of a good balance for us as professionals to make sure we don't overreact on things or on new technologies or how we are adapting these new technologies. You need a plan as well when it comes to integrate new technologies within your teams. It's not like from day one you just switch everything up within your team. You need to train your team. You have something new, so training, learning about things, keeping you up to date with technologies needs to be in our DNA. Because a few people thinks, okay, yeah, I took this webinar, I can code a little bit. That's it. I'm done. I can take my tasks and work efficiently. So you need to keep yourself going. So learning path, it's something that will give you the power when something new is coming into the picture. You can quickly adapt yourself because you know how to learn it. You know the tricks. You know everything around that. You need to maintain the core principles, as we said, that are there. You don't overreact to something new, like test planning, how to design your testing strategy, how to execute your testing strategy, or even report your testing strategy. So you make sure that everything is there and you can keep yourself at a balance. Of course, you need a feedback always when it comes to introduce technologies. You need to have a feedback loop with your engineering teams or even your QA teams. Already people needs to know if something is valuable for your company, your use case, and after that you chase people. Don't put so much time and effort to learn because it's something trendy, right? So you need to make sure that this something that is maybe trending, is it for your use case? Is it solving something on your side? And then you can chase that. Yep.
Thank you,
If
Anis.
if if
Mhm.
I may add, right, I totally agree with both of you, right? So for me, it is always about focusing on the why, right? So understanding what's the goal of the activity you are trying to do, and instead of getting caught up with the technological rise, see what outcomes you want to make for that specific goal. So connecting it to the goal, kind of like goal and outcome oriented framework, then you can have a better evaluation of understanding the why behind certain things, right? And also, part of testing is actually a risk mitigation activity. So now we have tools and technologies that improves the effectiveness of risk mitigation. So when you think of implementing or taking up those tools into practice, just make sure how it can make you more effective in your daily work, right? Instead of chasing the new tools, it's better to understand how it contributes towards increasing your effectiveness on solving the challenges we had in the past. So that makes it more fitting into the context. And also need to ask whether it is solving a certain challenge you actually had. It goes back to what Ionis mentioned. It is basically on evaluating. So we have a challenge. With this new tool, are we solving the specific challenge? If we are just having like, okay, for the sake of doing automation, we can have like 100 frameworks in place, right? We can automate 100% of the testing activity. But whether we need that, so that is the question we need to ask ourselves. So do we need 100 different framework to automate, or 100% of test coverage? Is it something we need? So that is kind of like understanding the why behind certain things, and then defining the tools and practices correlated with that purpose. I would say so that goes back to the mindset part 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐿𝐿 mentioned. So it's more about your mindset as a tester, and that's the key foundational skill all of the testers should always have. Technology is just complementing you, like it's a complementary factor for you.
I agree. Thank you for the insight, Nitin. Rahul?
Perfect. Yeah. So, an interesting question. Just I want to restate that question because a lot of interesting points shared by everybody. But the original question around that, how do as a professional you balance new technology advancements and then the foundational testing principles? And I think this is a question that I believe everybody is asking themselves at the core. No matter, I mean, people in the experts, other experts, I think everybody is asking this question. How I see this is, or what how the model that I look to see it is that these are two gears who drive each other. Which means, I mean, unless you don't understand testing well, which is the actual thing that you want to do, which Nitin said, that the real problems to solve or the real value that the business is looking for, you cannot think of how some tool could help you. Because a lot of people are not able to innovate with testing because they are thinking of there has to be one big solution which will like completely transform testing from point A to point B. But it's not like that. I mean, you have to find micro improvements, and that needs understanding the foundations very well. Now, once you understand the foundations very well, I mean, the foundations will help you find those micro activities that you can do with your tool. So, I mean, base is the foundations of your testing, and once you do that, I mean, learn a tools. Now there are AI tools, agents, and so on, and then blend it to help you with your testing, and then understand testing to help you get better ideas of what kind of tools you have to use. So I mean, both have to fuel each other. If there is only one engine working for somebody, I mean, the pace is half. I mean, your speed is half. So I mean, both of your engines should be working.
Yeah,
Excellent point, Rahul. Yeah,
that's
I
wonderful.
agree on
Yeah.
that.
Shall I
So,
wrap it up, this Harsha? Yeah, just I'll
sure,
sum
sure,
it up
yeah,
because
yeah,
I know I've covered all the things pretty much. It was beautifully
yeah.
said. So yeah, so just to in personally, as Rahul said, like everyone is asking the same question, right, to ourselves, and even our mentees might ask us, our juniors might ask us. So I'll always answer, or even to myself, this is not a race, right? So you're not supposed to compare yourself with others or the people who were into testing for many years, or who your juniors are, or who your seniors are, the people who meet from community or yesterday, whom you met yesterday. Nothing like that. It's not a race. We are all here to survive and thrive. Like whatever technologies come and go, we as testers will always be here, and we are evolving. I wouldn't say that we are being suppressed or something. We are evolving, right? It's a human evolution, right? Even human, as a species, we are all evolving all these years. We couldn't say we look the same way 10 or 120 200 years back, right? So we are all evolving. All the features are evolving. The same way, I would say testing and testers are evolving. So we just need to just enjoy the process, right? Just don't think it as a race. Just enjoy the process, learn through the people, just get into the right kind of support system. As Rahul mentioned beautifully, like community is right now heart of everything, right? So even Lambda Test is promoting that, right? So I have a lot of beautiful friends over there. So it's about the people who keep you safe, right? So just think about it as a kind of learning curve, and don't think it as a race. Just take it slow. So even because even right now I'm just back from a leave and I don't want to go into the race and right now learn whatever people are telling me, right? No, I don't want to, because I have something to focus on right now. Parallelly, I have to focus on my work, and slowly I have to catch up on the learnings whatever I missed on last year, right? So it's about like, don't compare yourself. Like it's not a race. So just enjoy the process. Testing has of course gone through a lot of way. Tools will come and go always, and as our people said, it's all about your testing basics. So learn testing. And I always quote one of the funny incident, almost I think 1 or 2 years back, I had an interview and I was asking some testing basics to a folk, and he was like I think he was around like 2 to 3 years of experience. And when I asked testing basics question, he answered me like, "Hey Priscilla, I joined as a test automation specialist, and I don't know answer for these." So I was like, okay, okay, bro, come on. So I think it's a well answered one. So I said like, okay, maybe we should maybe next meet after a few years. So right now I really don't want to continue this, and I don't want to waste your time as well. So it goes the same way, Harshal. Like the
Got
foundations are basic, and don't compare yourself. Just enjoy the flow and learn it. That's it.
got it. Thank you, Priscilla.
Thank
Folks
you.
in the audience, remember basics are important. So let's talk about building from the ground up. So many teams are just beginning their quality engineering journey today. So for the teams just starting out or laying the foundation for testing, what key strategies and good practices should they follow to build a robust testing structure in 2025 or beyond?
Okay. I would just accept that we going first.
Go
Go
ahead, go
now,
ahead.
go now, go
You're
now.
a lucky charm. Just go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
All right. So I would say building a solid testing foundation in 2025 um, is no longer about just writing test cases. It's now about building the culture of quality across the team from day one. And here's my own approach. I recently joined a team where I heard the team, and it's as good as I just started the team because literally everybody in my team was just hired newly. There was no reference document or anything, so I was literally starting afresh. So there were five different things that I did for this. So that's why I really wanted to go first. The first one is start with a very strong test strategy. Define what quality means for the product. And when you're defining it, it is not just about you, it's about the product manager, the business owner, the developers, everybody. We need to come together and define what quality means for us as far as this product is concerned. And for you, you need to prioritize risk-based testing and decide where manual, where automation, or even AI-driven testing fit into the whole conversation or the whole processes. The second one I would say is shift left and collaboration. Now, don't just wait for when development is done. Test early, test often, fail early. Work closely with developers, product managers, designers, and ensure that it's embedded into the whole development flow. There is a policy I did in my team recently that I told my team, drop your laptop and just go and speak with the developers in person. Don't chat on Teams or Slack conversation. Since you're in this, go and have one-on-one conversations with them. It sort of build a way of collaboration. Um, the third one is invest in scalable solution. Choose automation tools that aligns with your stack and are very scalable. Yes, I know that we have Playwright, Cypress, K6, AI driven tools. These things they are more scalable, because it sort of aligns. And again, they are scalable if they fit into the stack in your organization. But remember, automation supports testing. It does not replace it. That has to be like what you keep reminding yourself, because trust me, it can be very tempting to just want to test everything. The fourth one I would say is build a strong CI/CD pipeline. Ensure fast feedback loops with automated tests running in the pipeline. Um, for my pipeline, for example, I make sure that my test runs twice in a day, like end to end. It runs by 8 a.m. in the morning. And if it failed, before it used to be when it fails one time, two times, but the third trial, it should notify me. But now, once it fails once, notify me. I also run it by close of business. When it fails once, I immediately have to look into it. So you want to make sure that your pipeline is able to catch issues early. And the last one would be foster quality mindset. Encourage exploratory testing. Encourage critical thinking over test cases. Encourage continuous learning. In my team, every Friday by 4 p.m., even though, yes, we need to learn a new skills, but at the same time, we get to play games. We get to play games that makes people think. You know, best team don't just follow test scripts. They ask the what if question. So I would say generally, don't just make quality your your own responsibility. I'm the tester. So quality, I'm the owner of quality. I'm not the owner of quality. Make quality a shared responsibility. It's not just the tester's job, it's everybody's responsibility. I mean, you don't even define quality to start with. If the company has hired a very skilled product manager or a not skilled developer, how then do you want to measure quality? How then do you want to achieve quality? So it's literally everybody's responsibility. That is how you build a resilient testing structure for the future and for 2025 and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Viranki. Anyone wants to add up?
Maybe just one point to add up, right? So we should have a mindset like which is very very agile to take testing beyond like 2025, right? Because what worked yesterday might not work today and will not be working tomorrow as well. So we need to be making like continuous improvements on how we make things work. And also like once many of the times what I see that the teams struggle is like they have a testing strategy for one specific problem at that point of time, right? And things might have been changed. Maybe the product evolved and the new landscape came into picture and the technology also raised. But they might forget to change the testing strategy, which still stick to the past. So there has to be a continuous improvement or an iteration, similar to the way of we have like shorter iteration of delivery. We should also have a shorter iteration for refining the frameworks we have and also the strategies. Only when we make like continuous improvements, we can have like a strong solid foundation that works for the present time, right? So what matters is the present time. So we need to figure out what works best for the present situation, and it could be scalable in future. So we need to lay out the connecting factor, like how we can lay out the foundation for the future as well. So I would say continuous improvement as an add-on factor on top of what you just mentioned.
Got it. Thank you, Nitin. So, as you approach the end of our discussion, I would like to add one more practical aspect of quality engineering, that is tool selection. So, with the influx in the modern tools like Playwright, Cypress, and AI-driven testing platforms, what key factors do you consider when selecting tools to integrate into your testing ecosystem?
Okay, if I may start, yeah. So tools, as we see, like shiny tools will come to the market. Like they may look glossy and attractive. I totally agree, and we're all tempted to go and try it. And even I'm one of a victim. I have been there too. So it's not a problem. Like it's not something like it's a kind of trap. I would say it's like every tool is being into the market for some reason, and the audience set is different. So whatever is coming into market, I would always say like every project need is different. So as I think Ibronki mentioned this before, like uh, just look at the purpose, like what is the purpose of that tool for you, and what is the current skill set of your team that you have. You cannot directly go and like pick a tool and implement in your team. It doesn't work that way, right? So just go and figure it out if your current team is capable of scaling, and they have a good learning, or they have enough support to learn that as well. And another point which Rahul mentioned before, see, almost all the things that team has already discussed before. Beautiful. It's about community support. We have to consider that as well. Like even for some of the tools, like even I was using currently, like few years before, there was not even a good materials being available. But right now, I can see a lot of open sources and many blogs and videos are being available. So always consider a tool which is having an enough community support or enough training materials being available, so that it is very easy for you to train your team as well. Just don't go and pick something into the market. It's a kind of the first day first show movie, right? Some people like to go and enjoy the thrill, whether it is good or bad. But some people will wait for the review and then they'll go and try it out. So it's like that. So based upon your need, every need is different. So always think about it. Just because others are following, you just don't need to go and book that show and go into that theater. Okay, so every tool is different. So just you can tailor and find your needs first. Sit with your team, right? Come up with your needs first, and then go and try it out if that tool is being needed for you, or you have to go for some other tool as well. So yeah, that's my point here.
Thank you, Priscilla.
I mean, I totally support what she said. I would just say, just to summarize what she said, see the tools as your teammate. You don't just pick one flashy one. You pick the one that fits into your team. So when you're evaluating, you're asking, will it fulfill my team needs? Does it integrate well with my current system? Then you make a decision from there. But just see it as your teammates and yeah, work with that. That's all.
One minor point that I want to add, because I think most of the points are good points are covered, but one important point is that it's very important to test the claims of any tools before using it, or like before sharing it or proposing it to your customers or to your project teams. I mean, because a lot of times, in the world of marketing, the messaging with a lot of tools is optimized for SEO, is optimized for a lot of claims. But as a tester, I think really test out those claims, apply critical thinking. Because if you propose something and when other people try out and feel it's not up to the market or it's not standing up to the claims, even your reputation will be at stake. So
Yeah.
save your reputation. I think it's a very important role. Not a lot of testers think of it that way, but evaluating tools is the role. A lot of like specialists and all, they do that. Yeah.
Mm, amazing.
So, anyone wants to go next? We are close to the allocated time.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Yep. So, Anis, do you want to go around?
Yeah, we don't hear you. Yeah.
We cannot hear you.
No,
No.
no, we are not hearing you.
I can take a couple of minutes.
Harsha, he just mentioned problem with mic.
Oh. So we can go on the closing note. Okay. Thank you. So there is so much more we could discuss, but the speakers to the depth and the importance and the quality engineering as we had to
as
2025.
we had to 2025.
So I want to sincerely thank each of our panelists for their valuable insights today. Learners, Ibranki, Nitin, Priscilla, and Rahul, your expertise and perspectives have made this truly enlightening session. So to our audience, thank you for your engagement and attention. I hope you're leaving with new ideas, strategies, and perhaps some questions to explore further. Thank you. Thank you all for joining.
Yeah, thank you. Happy
Thank
2025 and
you.
happy
Thank
to.
you
Yeah,
so
bye bye.
much.
Thank you. Thank you, folks.
Thank
Bye.
you.